Okay, guys, so here's the backstory of how I met this man. Basically, I used to work in the food service, and what that is just working in food, cashier, making food, and then serving it to customers. So, when you're at like a new job, like a first job, and you want a little something to look at. So there was nothing to look at until, what the hell is that? Hold on. My camera is, I don't know, hold on. Might be just a glare. But anyways, oh, shitski. I'm in the wilderness. Anywho, yeah, so basically, yeah, I was young, like literally early 20s, like 19, 20, 21, boom, like, those ages. So I ended up always seeing this guy, right? And I thought he was so fly, so cute. And I just was like, yo, like, I don't know what this guy's name is. I was asking the women who worked there before me. I'm like, yo, what's this guy's name? How can I, like, introduce myself to him or whatever? A lady ends up telling him, like, oh, somebody here likes you. And he was like, oh, who? And I was like, are you a fucking owl? Obviously, to me, like, nobody else here is cute that likes you, bro. Like, let's get it at one time. Hurry up. So, and I'm not saying let's get it as in let's smash, but to be honest, at that age, yeah, I was saying that. So, I ended up not getting to meet him because I was working, obviously, so I couldn't stop what I was doing and then go and say, hey, I'm so and so. No, like, it wasn't working like that. So I ended up seeing him one day, and like, I was talking to somebody in the hallway, and then he walked by, and then I remembered what he was wearing that day. So I was like, oh shoot, yo, he looked real good. Like, I'm like, yo, if he wears something nice, I'm gonna go say hi to him. You know those ones where the guy wears something nice and then you go and say what's up to them? So yeah, so he was wearing something nice, and then, like, literally at the corner of my eye, I seen his legs. Like, he walked by, and I was like, oh shoot, nah, like, later, miss, I'm gonna go say hi to this guy. I was like, hey. The man turned around, did like a slide back boogie. I was like, oh nah, like, I've never seen that in my life, never seen that before. And that should have been my first red flag. Like, who the fuck does a slide back boogie in 2016? So yeah, so I said, hey, I'm Tisha, and he was just like, oh, hi. And he shook my hand. I swear on the Bible, he shook my hand, and it was the nastiest piece of energy I've ever gotten in my fucking life. And I'm saying this now because I remember when he shook my hand and I was looking at him and I said my name, I was like, what the fuck? Because it just felt like I just got warped into like a lie. Like, it just felt like a fucking scam. So, sorry, I'm just looking around. So what ended up happening was, like, I met him. Yeah, that day I met him, and I was like, okay, that was weird as fuck. Like, what kind of weird energy? It was so weird. And then I was like, okay. And I ended up telling, like, the girls at the job, and then even my friend. I was like, oh yeah, I met this guy, he's so cute, da, da, da. Mind you, I wasn't taking in that weird energy. Like, I was taking in, like, that was a weird type of handshake introduction thing. And I wasn't taking it in the way I should have, like, having discernment for meeting somebody who clearly you don't need to meet. Like, this whole story is basically me not needing to meet this man. So what happened was, I ended up seeing him again, like, sitting down, and I think I was on my break, like, the following week I seen him. And then, like, he was just really, like, when somebody's, like, overly sexual. But to me, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was doing. I was just looking at him, and I was kind of like, sorry, I was like looking at him, and I was just like, what? Like, now that I think back on it, he was doing like weird shit. Like, he was drinking out his water bottle, like gulping it and like staring at me, and I was just like, I think I need to go back to my job. Like, it was really strange. So yeah, I ended up like introducing myself, and I think the conversation was not really that memorable, but I was just looking at like his body language, and he was just, when you haven't really had any experience with men, and then like any like real outside experience, like outside of like school and like your community, like this was one of those experiences where it's like, why is he like looking at me like I felt like a piece of meat, but like a piece of meat that he knew wasn't for him, and then I knew I wasn't for him, but I didn't know that he was looking at me as in like, it was weird. It was such a weird experience. So yeah, so I asked him, oh yeah, what's his name? And then he tells me this name, which is fake, by the way. So we're gonna call him Richard. So he says Richard, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Richard with like, say like you put a little accent on top of the I. Richard with an I accent, or Richard with like no accent, because this is how I found his Facebook. Because once you tell me your name, this is me back in the day, because I wasn't in an area where I lived. Like, I was somewhere far away from home, right? So, and he looked more like closer to what I would see back in my area, but no, bro, my type has definitely changed, and he was not the one. So basically, I was like, yeah, Richard with an accent on the I, or Richard without it? He's like, oh yeah, Richard with the accent on the I. I'm like, oh, bet. When I went home, searched this motherfucker up. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy is sexy. No friends in common. That's crazy. Actually, we had one friend in common, but he was clearly older than me. And let's say if I was like 20 to 21, he might have been like 20, I would say like 26, 27 maybe. Some type of age, some higher age than me. So I was just like, okay, this guy's fly. So take in mind, I already searched him up. I did the whole Facebook pre-ing thing. Like, I just looked at him, whatever. And I know he fucking searched me up from the first time he met me. Excuse me. I know he did. You know why I know he did? Because this is the handshake. Let's come back to me, guys. When he shook my hand, the man literally, I'm so sorry if this video is foggy. Like, I'm trying, but also skin. But yeah, when he shook my hand, I had a name tag on my uniform, because obviously I was at work. So he shook my hand, but no eye contact with me, read my name, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna look me up. So I'm like, nah, two could play this game. Like, it was like a game, And one thing about me, if you're playing a game with me, I need to know the rules so I can play as well. But this time I was going in blind, so I was like, you know what, I'm not really gonna play a game with this man because I don't know him. And sometimes men can beat you at these games. If you want to play these romance games, these romantic illusion thing, like, they can beat you at this game because they are evil. Okay. And I'm not saying all men, but the man that I met, he was a direct descendant from Satan. I swear, I will never lie. So after I found out his name, Facebooked him, whatever, that happened. And then the thing is, with this job, like, I was never planning to stay there for too long, but I think I ended up staying there for like 2 years, but it was so hectic, and it was too demanding on like my body. Like I was there and I was losing so much weight. I was like smoking so much weed. I was just doing the most, you know. You're in your early 20s, you're doing the most. You don't give a fuck. You're finally making that little big paycheck, and it's lit, you know. And I feel like my managers and my coworkers were definitely taking advantage of me being so eager to get a job, me being so eager to finally have that boost of like, look at me, I have my own money, like I can do what I want type of business, type of feeling, type of energy. They were working me to the fucking ground, and I was like, you know what, nah, like I'm not gonna do this. So I ended up not showing up to work. Like I stopped showing up to work, but in my mind I was like, oh my god, I want to see that guy again, yo. And mind you, the whole time I'm seeing this guy, so just flat my nose, the whole time I'm seeing this guy at work, like I'm not even really saying hi. Like I'm saying hi and I'm still shy. Like I'm saying hi because he was really good looking, guys. Like he was. And I'm saying was because I really woke up to life and realized he is nothing. He's not that cute. And I'm only wearing this on my head because girl, is hot. It's hot right now. So yeah, basically he was like, I would see him in passing, like if I would be on my break or if I would be on my lunch, and like he'd walk by, we just stare at each other, like eyeball each other. And then one day, like I was saying stupid shit, and the thing with me, like I would tell my friends like that I like this guy, but my friends were some real whores, and they weren't trying to like give me the real like know how to talk to a man type of situation. They weren't helping me. They were some whores, and I was just like, oh, I'm all alone. Like how am I gonna win, you know? So I was just kind of like, fuck this, whatever. So I would see him and I would say like hi, and he'd be like hi, and he'd be like, how are you? I'd be like, good. Literally like that. Like I was so annoyed with him because I was pissed off at myself because I didn't know how much more to say to this man. And it's crazy because the way it went from this to being on the phone, getting busy on the phone, was crazy. But yeah, so basically I was trying to like disappear from work. Like I was trying to leave, but I ended up just not showing up. And then I was like, yo, like I want to see that guy again. So I went a few weeks. For like 1 week I went in and I was like, oh, okay, you know, don't see this guy, I'm cutting. Like, can you imagine? This is my mind at the time. Like at the time, I really do not think like this anymore, guys. Like I was so desperate, so begging, and it is what it is. But yeah, like I was just like, okay, you know, I don't see this motherfucker, I'm just gonna go home. But mind you, I had his Facebook, but I never added him. Actually, I did. I added him after I was blowing up. No, I added him when I could find him. Yeah, okay. And then I ended up sending him like a message on Facebook, and I gave him my number at the time. And I don't know if he called it or if he started prank calling me, but I don't know if I called it or if he started prank calling me, but there was a lot, like after I sent him my phone number, he was playing on that. And the thing is, I remember I asked him what he does like for work, like where he works in the area, because where I worked was like the cafeteria, right? So everybody would come in from wherever they're at in the whole building and just buy food. So I asked him, I'm like, oh, where do you work? And he's like, oh yeah, I work on the phones. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, this nigga's about to be in my celly. Like literally in my head, I'm like, yeah, he's about to be, like, the way my mind was just catching on to certain shit, but I was still thinking with my kitty. So it was just stupid. So I know I'm giving you the story in bits and pieces, but to be honest, it's all coming back to me now because today, this man has been sending me witchcraft. And it's not even funny, but I'm laughing because, like, bro, why? So, I'm gonna get into part 2. But yeah, that's just the main thing right now. So yeah, part 2 in a second.